I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and thank you very much for joining me today for a review of Cubirds. This is a 2 to 5 player set collection game, plays in about 20 minutes and has some rather interesting artwork. Big thanks to Kienda for the review copy. Obviously all faults are my own, but I do appreciate them sending me a review copy because this has hit my table quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. So let me take you down to the table, show you how the game plays, and then I'll bring you back up for my final thoughts. Okay, cheers! Okay, this is Cubirds set up for 2 players. What you'll see here is we have 4 rows, each with different birds in each row. If ever a bird was duplicated, it was placed up here in the discard pile. We have the deck of cards. Each player is given 1 bird for their collection. So this player has the owl, this player has the parrot, and they're given 8 cards. The objective of the game is to collect 7 of the 8 different species of birds, or to have 2 of the species with 3 of each. So that is the objective of the game. Really nice and simple objective. First player to do that wins. So let me show you how the game plays. So on a player's turn, they will take all of one species of bird they have in their hand. So for example, they could take this duck, because it's the only one they have, and then they could place it out and then gather something, or maybe not. Let me show you how this works. If they were to place a duck here, every bird that's in between these 2 ducks would be picked up by this player. That duck slides along, this goes into the player's hand, and then we need to refill. We need to make sure there's at least 2 different species, so that would be that player's go. Now, optionally, they can, if they've got enough, they can play 1 species down to the table. Now, you will notice on the cards that we have the species type up here, and then we have these numbers here. This number means if you've got 4 parrots, you can take all 4 of the parrots, place 1 in your collection, and put the other 3 in the discard pile. If you've got 6 parrots, you can place 2 of the parrots in your collection and place the rest in the discard pile. So you'll see I don't actually have enough for this player to do anything. So let's have a look at the other player's hand. Now, they have got quite a few ducks, and they do have 1 owl. So what they're going to do is they're going to take advantage. They're going to grab these 2 ducks, slide that one along. Oh, and it's the same, so we need to slide another one. Then they're going to have a look at their hand to see how many ducks they've got. They've got 5. Now, they could wait 1 more go to have 6, but instead what they're going to do is they're going to just take these 5 for now, place 1 in their collection, discard the others. So this player can now have a go. What they're going to do is they're going to place that parrot there. They're going to grab these owls, slide the parrot along, turn over the new card. Now you'll notice with this player what they've got is they have got 4 parrots, which means they can collect 2 of them in their collection, discard the other 2. But now you'll see that they've got 3 of 1 species, so they only need to get 3 of another species to win the game, whereas this player over here has 2 separate species. They'd need to get 5 more species. So you're going to keep on doing that. There are other options. You can place a card, for example here, knowing that you won't be able to collect anything else, and then you have another option there, which is you can draw 2 cards from the top of the deck to add to your hand. So they do that. One other option is once you get a bit further, let's say for example this player's only got this card left in their hand, they can place it and choose not to collect. Their hand is now empty. That ends the round. The other players must discard their cards in their hand. 8 new cards are dealt to each player, and the player who ended the round goes first. So you're going to keep on playing like that until one player has either achieved one of the objectives, or there's not enough cards in the discard pile to reshuffle up to deal out 8 cards for each player. And that's how you play Cubirds. Okay, I hope that overview gave you a good feel for the game. So let me talk about some of the things that I do really like about Cubirds. Number 1, the artwork. Every single bird is absolutely gorgeous. Some of them are having little different poses, absolutely lovely, really lovely. The card quality is really good as well, been shuffled loads, played loads, no signs of any wear or tear so far. Yeah, really enjoy that. Comes in a lovely size box, really great instructions. The rule book is really clear, really easy to understand, so that's really, really nice. One small niggle about the cards, you will notice that the species type is on one side, whereas the collection numbers are on the other side. I wish both bits of information had been on both sides of the cards, because as you hold your cards in your hand, you'll only have so much information depending on which way you hold them. So that's a little bit of a ding for me on the overall score, but how the game plays is where this game's all about, and I love it. I especially love it at 2 players. 2-player game, you can really start to try and work out what your opponent wants, playing down cards deliberately, kind of trying to push them into taking something that you don't really want, hoping that they leave that precious flamingo down on the table for you to take. So for me, this is best at 2 players. When you go to 3, 4, and especially 5, the table state can change so significantly between your turns that it feels a bit out of control, that you have very little control over the game. Whereas at 2, there is so much control, there's so much head-to-head. Every game I've played of this at 2 has been a really close battle, either won by a player getting 3 types of 2 birds, or 3 of each 2 birds, or by getting the magical 7 species number. So the last game we played especially was 7-6. It was so close. It was absolutely fantastic. The playtime of 20 minutes is about right. You will then want to shuffle up and have another go, because it's one of those kind of games. Like I think I've mentioned, the table state, you do need a big table, maybe a wide table, because you can get to a position where you're placing quite a lot of birds down. It's getting further and further and further wider. So that's one other small negative, but there's no real solution to that. I'm glad they didn't make the cards smaller, because if they had, the artwork wouldn't have been so amazing and looked so good on the table. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time with Cubirds. It's a game that I will love to teach lots and lots of people, and I can't wait to play it again a bit later on today. So that was my very brief review of Cubirds. I hope it gave you a good feel for the game and gave you some impressions of whether or not it's a game for you. Once again, big thanks to Kienda for the review copy. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, I've been Neil from Board Game Happy. I hope you have enjoyed the review. If you have, please like and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay, cheers.